Right now, 50,000 U.S. troops are staged in positions directly surrounding the Iranian border. This deployment has triggered an immediate response across the West, with massive crowds gathering in the U.S. and Europe to protest the possibility of a new conflict. To the general public, 50,000 soldiers appear to be an overwhelming invasion force, ready to cross the border at any moment. However, military strategists looking at this exact setup see a fatal flaw in the Pentagon's positioning. If the U.S. military knows this force is drastically undersized for its stated mission, we have to ask why these soldiers are being sent into a potential disaster. Understanding the true purpose of this buildup requires us to look past the political rhetoric and analyze the raw math of the battlefield. First, Iran is 4 times larger than Iraq. Its borders are dominated by massive mountain ranges, forming an impassable perimeter for heavy vehicles. Hidden beneath is an extensive tunnel network, allowing defenders to move completely invisible to aerial surveillance. In this terrain, ground forces are forced onto exposed single-file roads where they are vulnerable to ambush from every surrounding ridge. This geography neutralizes a standard deployment speed, turning an invasion into a slow-moving logistical nightmare. This geographic disadvantage is compounded by a staggering manpower mismatch. Currently, 50,000 U.S. soldiers are deployed. Waiting for them on the other side of the border is a defending force of over 1 million Iranian ground troops. This chart shows the tactical reality of the conflict. Experts estimate that a successful invasion would require at least 500,000 soldiers, 10 times what is currently deployed. Iran is keenly aware of these numbers. Officials reportedly state they have been waiting for the U.S. to attempt this exact scenario for 20 years. America's closest ally, Israel, also recognizes the danger. While providing support from the sidelines, they are pointedly avoiding any ground operation involvement. Because these numbers guarantee a conventional defeat, we must consider that the true objective of this deployment is not military conquest. If 50,000 soldiers cannot win a war, we have to look at what they can achieve through their presence alone. Some analysts point to a controversial theory that this under-equipped force is being used as bait, intended for sacrifice. In this scenario, those 50,000 soldiers are allowed to be surrounded and captured by Iranian forces in a high-profile public defeat. Once captured, these soldiers are no longer useful as a fighting force, but they instead become the ultimate political assets. Footage of captured Americans would instantly flood news channels, specifically designed to trigger a massive emotional response from the public. This surge in national outrage is the only force powerful enough to instantly silence the current anti-war protests and unite the country behind a full-scale conflict. The ultimate beneficiary of this shift in public sentiment would be the administration's military budget. Currently, the White House is seeking $200 billion in new military funding. This diagram illustrates the political deadlock. A $200 billion request is blocked by public resistance, a barrier only a high-stakes crisis can break. A hostage crisis creates an emotional mandate to rescue our troops, forcing lawmakers to approve funding without delay. Within the bait theory framework, these 50,000 lives are not being used to take territory, but as a mechanism to secure domestic capital in Washington. This highlights a dark possibility in modern statecraft, that an army can be deployed to manufacture the consent required to fund its own destruction.